Welcome back, True Seeker. Yesterday, we had the Falls Township mass shooting national story, and we were looking at that, and we noticed it was right next door to Newtown, Pennsylvania. Of course, Newtown's the same name as the town in Connecticut where the Sandy Hook shooting happened. And we were talking about how this was coming just days after the Aaron Rodgers controversy, where there were national headlines about him being a Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist. And we talked about why they used him on the anniversary of the Dunblane massacre, which was March 13th, which got gun rights taken away in the UK, which was also the targeting of first graders. Again, Sandy Hook and Dunblane were always compared to each other, but where Aaron Rodgers also fit in with the ritual. And now it's the very next day, and now it is Newtown. A gun related scare in Newtown, a barricade situation, another shelter in place for this area. And you guys, again, it's not an accident that they gave us all these things around the time of 9/11 and the Patriot Act and nonstop fear. It's like now it's impossible to not have the news because it's buzzing on your phone. You're getting a notification, the latest story. Everyone's so caught up. The other day I was having to meet with a plumber, and the plumber got interrupted in his thought. He's like, "Oh man, there's a shooting in Yakima right now." It's like, well, who cares? That's 80 miles away. Let's focus on the problem right here. He had to pull out his phone in the middle of a problem to tell me about the buzz about the shooting in Yakima. But anyway, let's look at this. Let's look if there's a coincidence here about what happened in Newtown on December 14th, 2012 in Connecticut, and what happened supposedly today in Newtown, Pennsylvania, right next door again to Towns Fallship. I'm just going to scroll down to right here. Notice from December 14th, the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting, to today, March 17th, is 94 days later. And what's Newtown, Pennsylvania equal? 94. And is 94 an arbitrary number? Of course not. If you've read my book, Number Games, you know a lot about this number 94. You know about how the World Trade Centers open on the 94th day of the year. You know what this number had to do with the pandemic that locked down the world. This number is more than a number. It's a number that's used to scare the bejesus out of people over and over by a code. The word terror itself equates to 94. That's why the World Trade Center towers opened on the 94th day of 1973, April 4th. Notice World Trade Centers also got that Gematria 94, like Roman Catholic Church. And again, we're on their calendar, speaking their language as they run the nation, as they run a lot of nations, as they are the New World Order. Supposedly Columbus discovered the New World, right? That's how we learned about it in his storybook. And who paid for the New World, the New World Order? What's today? It's Sunday, right? And what's that old name for the sun? Helios. Like we're on the heliocentric model that says the sun's at the center of it all. Helios is another big 94, like Gregorian. And if you missed my video on February 24th about the implementation of the Catholic Gregorian calendar, there's even more 94s to it. But yeah, this number is not arbitrary. Again, everything about the pandemic, or I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of it was 94, including it starting in Seattle, Washington. Again, the first confirmed case outside of China in the world was in Seattle, Washington, which equals 94. And Bill Gates, he had just predicted all this and simulated it. And it was him and Melinda, married on the first day of 94 days before Kurt Cobain bit the dust. And by the way, for my Seattle people, if the weather's good for this upcoming Friday, April 5th, I think that's going to have to be a date down at Pike's Place. It'll be the 30th anniversary of Kurt Cobain's very 94 death in the 94 city. Last year, we were out, at the Seattle Seahawks home opener, letting the fans know before the game why they were wasting their time and money and that the Seahawks were going to lose that day and Matt Stafford was going to get his 94th career win. And he did. Seattle, Washington's 94, just like Newtown, Pennsylvania. But yeah, 94 days after the anniversary, they got to get this out there, the lockdown in Newtown. And notice Newtown's got that infamous Gematria 33, like order, like secrecy, like masonry, like federal, like Sunday, like Bible. Catholic Church, again, gave us the language, the calendar, the stories, the belief systems. The word believe itself is 33. Bible, 33. Believe what's in the Bible. Put your power outside of you. Believe in fantastic, mystical stories from thousands of years ago. Keep waiting for somebody to come save you. A lot of people don't like when I go on these rants. They're saying, how dare you mock God? No, I'm not mocking God. I'm mocking you. I'm mocking you, moron. I'm not mocking God. God doesn't write books. God doesn't write stupid stories and tell you to believe in them or else. You know, journalists, supposed journalists, they do that. They write stupid stories and tell you to believe in them or else. Believe you're going to die from COVID if you don't get vaccinated or else. And again, when you realize it's the Society of Jesus that's running the whole pandemic, running 9/11, give up your rights and liberties and believe in the terrorist boogeyman Osama bin Laden or else. Could be your town. Could be any town. Could be Newtown. I'm not mocking God. I'm mocking morons. That's the thing about morons. They're just too dumb to get the point of anything. How dare you mock Jesus and mock God? Well, Jesus isn't even his name. How dare you come on my channel and leave such dumb comments? That's another thing I want to hear. You shouldn't judge people, Zach. I shouldn't judge people? Well, what conclusion should I come to when I'm in the grocery store and there's a family of fat fucks walking down the aisle, taking up the whole fucking aisle because they're so fat, and nothing's in their cart but soda and junk food? Should I not pass judgment? Should I not pass judgment? They got their COVID masks on. They're fat as fuck. They're worried about their health because they got their COVID mask on as their cart's all loaded up with soda, and they're each about 50 to 100 pounds overweight apiece. I shouldn't pass judgment? Do I not have to pay taxes that go into this social security system that's going to pay for these people's health bills someday? Hell yeah, I'm going to pass judgment. Can't judge everybody for everything, but you can judge for certain things. Somebody still believes in the news, bullshit religion. Yeah, that's worthy of passing judgment. These people are fucking dumb as rocks. You know why this work hasn't taken off? Well, it did take off back before YouTube killed it with the algorithm, but why it still doesn't take it shouldn't even matter that the YouTube kills it with the algorithm. This work should still command the views every day. It's been the only thing that's been on the web for 10 straight years, proving exactly what's going on every single day. Calling out what happens before it even happens. No, the reason why is because humanity deserves to be judged. It's because humanity's fucking dumb. That's why. That's why they can look at something like this and be like, oh, I think it's all just a coincidence. Yeah, it's because the reason you come to that conclusion is because you're a fucking retard. That is the judgment, and that is the correct call. You know, there are correct judgments. So anyway, a few other things about today. It's 17/3, like 173, which is the 40th prime number. Sandy Hook's 40. Again, they're trying to draw on that, subconscious programming right there. Newtown, Sandy Hook. Today can also be written 3/17, like 317, which is the 66th prime. Again, 17/3, like 173. 173 is the 40th prime. 317 is the 66th prime. Shelter in place 66, like mass shooting. That's what they ordered for Newtown today. Shelter in place. I mean, did you guys see that it was a little more than a year ago that Yakima was the national news story, and they said there was a gunman who drove east on Route 24 on the 24th of January. Of course, Yakima equals 24. The First Masonic Lodge in Yakima is 24. The sun equals 24. Again, masonry and the sun's a big thing too. That's why the female branch is the Order of the Eastern Star, which is the sun. Masonry is based in the Bible. The Bible's astrotheology, as is pretty much every spirituality, at least major one. But I went out to Yakima to see the standoff situation, and I pointed out to the guy in charge. I said, "Look at what the name of the street is here, where you guys are having this standoff situation." It was called Almo. It was only missing an A to be Alamo. It was the standoff on almost Alamo. And they stood around there all day from the morning until the late afternoon. And then all of a sudden, the news broke that the shooter had been killed by Target. And so I drove over to the Target, which was about 1.5 miles from where the standoff was. And there was absolutely nothing going on at the Target, in the parking lot, in the neighborhood behind the Target. I drove all around. I was like, there must be some police activity somewhere around here. Absolutely nothing. Just this staged standoff seen all day on Almo, and then supposedly the news breaks that he's dead by the Target, and there's just nothing over there. Nothing. And think about it, a shooter killed by the Target in fascist America, where they get some free advertising for the corporation in there. Anyway, the other thing about today, it's the day with the kill date, so we'll see what other headlines emerge today. Last month on the kill date, you had the officers shot in Minneapolis. We covered that last month. That was February 18th. If you're new here, what the kill date is today's date numerology is 284464. And again, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language, so there's 4 numerical values for a word. The word kill has gematria of 284464. And you know what? Actually, today's the day where it hits all 4 values because it's the 17th of the month as well. And kill also equals 17. Kill is 17, 28, 44, 64. So, we'll see what else comes today. But in light of that 28 date numerology and Newtown being the town today with the gun scare, perfectly synced with what happened in Newtown, Connecticut. Again, it's just like we teach every day. Date numerology, gematria, rituals, history, ongoing, nonstop. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And again, I mean, you look at America, they don't know anything about history. Our people don't know anything about history. Fox News loves to make a mockery of Americans with their man on the street reporting, asking people simple questions and then laughing at how many just have completely ridiculous answers or are dumbfounded. Again, this is a society of dopes. It does deserve to be judged. It's embarrassing, this society of dopes they've raised. Just fat people everywhere. Wasn't like this 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you could still get in a fight to solve your problems. Can't do it anymore. Now it's lawsuits. 30 years ago, you could throw around the 3-letter F word. Now you can't. And now everybody is one. You know what I mean? People all butthurt about what I said about donut. That's not right, Zach. What do you mean it's not right? What's not right is the video he put out talking shit about the work that I do that actually proves something while him and his crew lead everyone to they. That they's not a person. We're going right to the source every day, showing you who's running the show. And again, in case you missed the Aaron Rodgers ritual, Aaron Rodgers gets shamed for Sandy Hook conspiracy theories on the anniversary of the Dunblane massacre, which was compared to Sandy Hook because they were both the targeting of first graders by a gunman. Gun rights were taken away in the UK in a major way. In the US, gun rights were undermined more, but they still haven't been taken away. And as we talked about, Dunblane's on the 73rd day of the year. This ritual came on the 28th anniversary. Dunblane's 73 and 28. So is Adam Lanza. So is Packers. Aaron Rodgers, who made his legacy with the Packers. But, and let's not forget, Newtown's on the 73rd meridian. But the big thing was this. Again, from the day that Dunblane happened to the day that Sandy Hook happened was 201 months and a day later. And let's not forget that Lenny Posner, who's been undermining free speech, he's the war on free speech. His wife, I can't think of her name right now, but her name is 201. She also targets free speech. But notice how they used Aaron Charles Rodgers, who again faked his injury on 9/11 with the New York Jets and the 201 area code when 2 towers became 0 before they became 1 because of what happened on that day in history. But Aaron Charles Rodgers, 201 forwards, 312 in reverse. And it was the day before, March 12th, that Jesuit-educated RFK Jr., the Jesuit-run New York Times, put out the headline that RFK was considering Aaron Rodgers for vice president. And again, this is the Jesuit code. The first Jesuit pope, the first living sweet 201, Jorge Mario Bergoglio. His name's 201 and 312. And yeah, again, you can just see that story was published on 3/12. News by the numbers, all day, every day. If you missed yesterday's videos on the Falls Township shooting, they come out on Society of Jesus Day, John 3:16 Day, March 16th, and tell you the shooter's a young black man, just like the physical description of Jesus in the Bible. But again, Falls Township on the 74th Meridian West. Active shooter has the Gematria 61 forward, 74 in reverse. Andre Gordon ends up being the shooter. Again, John 3:16, most famous verse in the Bible, at least in the New Testament about Jesus. Jesus and cross, got the 61 and 74 like Tupac. Again, Tupac had the big Jesus ritual, his death, and the album they put out after with him on the cross like Jesus on the day leaving 56 days left in the year, November 5th. The Society of Jesus number. So, again, I mean, it's not hard to see who's behind all these rituals. Sandy Hook, built in 1956, the shooting 56 years later in 2012. Adam Peter Lanza, the full name 56. When did the vaccine shot go live in the US for the big 56 ritual that was COVID? It went live on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, and the first person to get the shot, her name was Sandy Lindsay. And that also happened to be the day of the total solar eclipse in Argentina, the Pope's country, when Corona relates to the faint light around the edge of the sun in the time of a total eclipse. We'll have another one of those on April 8th in the States. Big eclipse coming up. The Jesuit logo, you do have that edge around the sun. A lot of people think that that's a tribute to an eclipse. It makes a lot of sense. But, yeah, just the mockery. I mean, yesterday we pointed it out. Yesterday we said, wow, it's right next to Newtown, huh? Right after this Aaron Rodgers thing. And then, boom, they come back the very next day. They got a national news story about a gun scare in Newtown. It's just, I mean, predictable for sure. So, but yeah, we still can't get anybody, to talk about it. And the other thing that drives me nuts is you have all these people, just more and more. Like, one of the fastest growing segments of YouTubing is First Amendment auditors, right? Going out and putting your camera in a police officer's face. Because again, YouTube loves it. YouTube allows you to monetize it, get a bunch of views off it. It fits into the other agenda going on, the one they've really been trying to build since, well, especially in recent years, since George Floyd, which, again, is another huge Jesuit 201 ritual. But, yeah, it's like, First Amendment auditing is never going to solve any problems. Like, if there's a weed, what a police officer is like the head of the weed. It's like just pulling off the head of the weed. The weed's going to grow back all the way, probably within 24 hours, no doubt 48. Again, police officers are only following the orders of the tyrannical government that created their positions and the laws they enforce in the first place. So it's like everyone out there just wants to pull a head off a weed because they can monetize their channel and get a bunch of views. And you see guys like Brian. Brian used to have a more worthy message. He was speaking about the ills of government, trying to talk about the pandemic. He's always also ridden on the coattails of the mainstream stories and validated them too. But again, his whole channel now is just First Amendment auditing. And he doesn't even do any himself. He just plays the videos of other people doing First Amendment auditing and monetizes that. Doesn't even have to do anything, just monetizes other people's videos. But, yeah, there's very few people that actually want to change anything on the tube. There's a lot of people that just want views and YouTube ad dollars, and they know from watching me for a decade. You talk about this work, man, your views are gonna get crushed. Your channel's gonna get crushed and deleted. So anyway, I think those are the main things I had to say for this video. Oh yeah. This Netanyahu thing. I'll just do a separate video on this Netanyahu getting all the attention responding to Schumer. Again, Schumer challenged Netanyahu on the 74th day of the year from the Senate right before the Ides of March. Again, on the 74th day of the year, the challenge came. Netanyahu's 74. As we know, Jewish equals 74. So now 3 days later, on the 77th day of the year, Netanyahu responds, and Judaism is 77, like Zionist, like theater, like political theater, like the theater of war, like how everything about Israel's been by the numbers, like how everything about Israel that took place we called well before it happened. So, and these channels that don't call anything right, put out nothing but false fear, false predictions, information that leads you nowhere. Somehow they're getting 100,000 views. We can't even track 1,000 views. And again, we know why that really is. It's because YouTube doesn't mind promoting people that lead everyone nowhere. They do have a problem with, again, YouTube and Google celebrate their birthday on the Jesuit Order's recognition anniversary, Sundar Pichai 201. The mass layoffs at Google the other year through email were a big 201 ritual. But yeah, I mean, that's just what sucks about this world for being right. You will get persecuted and your message will get destroyed and all the trash will float to the top. And all the dummies, they won't be able to discern the difference. They'll be like the people in my comments, why are you saying something about Donut? I like both of you. It's like, okay, I don't care that you like both of us. One of us actually does something. The other one here sits here and sells VHS tapes and leads you to nowhere. I don't need short bus riders in my community, you know. I'm not here for the short bus riders. I'm here for people who are going to make a difference, and it's not going to be any short bus rider who, follows turds like Donut. Shout out to 13 Serpents, always with the generosity. Appreciate it. Here, for all you Donut fans, here, let me pull up his little video here. Let's hear exactly what he said in his own words. And then you guys can be like, I like both of you. Well, that's because you're stupid, okay? I know anyone who left a comment like that's not a very smart person. Any guys who leave your little religious comments, like, how dare you mock God? I know you're just another retard, you know? I don't mock God. I mock stupid religions, nonsensical bullshit religions that are so obviously bullshit, you got to be a fucking retard to not know it yet, okay? Big difference. Real, everyone's just too soft, too indoctrinated, heads too far up their ass, can't discern the obvious. Okay, I know he says this somewhere around the 17-minute mark. I'm gonna start it up right here. All right, hold on. I have to switch over the audio setting too. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's listen to what he said. I mean, it's just such a disingenuous statement. It's just such a shill statement. No one but him. Who is Jay Dyer? I never even heard of this guy until recently. Like, who is he, first of all? And how many people have been talking about how corrupt the CIA is and other intelligence agencies? For years, we've been showing how you learn this little code. You can see the Jesuits are literally behind every intelligence agency. And like I said yesterday, former CIA agent said, the greatest intelligence agency in the world is the Jesuits. And again, you learn what we're talking about with the numerology and the secret societies in history. You can see how the same patterns trace all from the start of this country up through the present, including the establishment of the CIA. So to leave a remark like that is just so disingenuous. And again, Jay Dyer, he is a guy who has, from listening to the interview, I mean, he has interesting points, but nothing ever went past they. He leaves everything at they. They. Oh, they. Let me go knock on the door of they to stop what's going on then. Is this where they live? And then the same thing here. Morons come here and are like, what do I do with this information? Well, I'm showing you who's running the world, for what purpose, how they trick and deceive everybody. And if people would wake up, then we could stop they. Just like how the other year that South American nation banned the Jesuits and shut down the Jesuit universities. The same thing needs to happen in the U.S. All the Jesuit universities need to be shut down. You know what else needs to happen? We actually do need to burn the Constitution, because it is just like a piece of paper, like George Bush said, and we need to rewrite the fucking thing. There shouldn't be freedom of religion. See, that's how you can tell the Jesuits created the nation. Freedom of religion is a major problem. There should not be freedom of religion. We should be free from religion. And if you think that's a problem, you're the problem, okay? You can't see that churches run the nation. Why do you think they don't have to pay any taxes? Why do you think churches don't have to pay any taxes? You can't see who runs this nation just through that alone? I mean, that's the $1,000,000 clue right there. The church runs this nation. Freedom from religion. Non-existent. You want to be spiritual? Practice in your home, okay? Practice in your home. All this belief shit isn't helping anything. Oh, my belief's greater than your belief. My God's better than your God. No, God's not intervening. God's sitting back and watching the shit show that is his creation, if that is what it is. But yeah, no, the entire Constitution can be rewritten. It doesn't even exist anyway. We don't have freedom of speech. We don't have the right to bear arms. We don't have anything that's on there. It is just a piece of paper. George W. Bush said it when he was president. He said it's just a piece of paper because people called him out if he was undermining it. He's like, it doesn't matter. It's just a piece of paper. He was exactly right. No, we need freedom from religion. That needs to be right at the top. No more religion. It's all gone. Wash it all away. Get rid of it. It's garbage. It's trash. It's holding humanity down. You want to know why you got a nation of retards? It's the foundation of the retardation of this nation. Because from a young age, you're taught from these religious institutions to believe in a total bullshit story that makes no sense, that serves on your ego and your fear. That's all it does. If you don't believe in it, you'll be punished. If you don't believe that your religion's better than all the other ones, you're a bad person. And you've seen that with what they're doing in Israel. At the beginning of this Israel-Gaza thing, it's kind of turning a little bit now, and that's the divisiveness. But at the beginning of it, you were a bad person if you supported Gaza or the not killing of the Gazan people. You were a bad person. You were supporting the wrong religion. But yeah, again, this is why my work's never going to flourish, because it just doesn't resonate with the sheep masses. Sheep masses are like, oh my God, freedom from religion, oh my God. Just fearful, sheepish, stupid people. People would rather, people would rather have the fake happy tone with the bullshit information in the days and a guy who closes out his video like this. I mean, is this the end? People are mad that I pointed this out. Let's watch this again one more time. Like, to me, this is an instant unsub. If you were following this guy and then you saw this, you'd be like, I don't want to be following a guy that's a bottom to every other guy in the Castro. And that's what you have right here. This is inexcusable. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, it's just, we got no sound. We should have sound. Where was there no sound on? The video? Yeah, I know what it is. It's because I had that echo cancel. I hate how, I don't know why StreamYard made that change like a year back. Before there was no echo problem, and then they created this box. And if you don't have the box checked, there's a major echo problem if you have a guest on. But then if the box is checked, then it mutes out the video. And before they just didn't have that setting, and there was no echo problem, and the videos played fine. I hate the supposed improvements that so many things make that are not improvements. They're like needless and they create problems. But here, let me go back and play the clip. You didn't need the sound for the end part. It was just that limp, like little princess at a beauty pageant wave from a 30-some-year-old male. It's just, you would have never saw that in the 90s unless you were in the Castro or Capitol Hill in Seattle and you were trying to pick up on another dude. But here's what I was trying to play earlier.
Yeah, just did a podcast with Nick Bryant, and I know you were on his show too. Everything is kind of curated for this podcast for you as well. And the question I have, espionage, sexpionage, you talk about the swallow and the raven. And in the truther community, people talk about numerology, secret societies, and the way the world actually operates is through espionage, and no one wants to look at it except for you. Why is this so overlooked? And how does this espionage, sexpionage?
So again, I mean, that's what I was talking about yesterday, just that remark was made. It just, I mean, it's just like communication between shills. Nobody's talking about this but you. I mean, just totally false rhetoric right there. But then also to set it up with like, people talk about numerology and secret societies, but really it's just about the intelligence agencies. It's like, from studying what we're talking about, again, you can see that the Jesuits run the CIA without a shadow of a doubt. And half from the day it was created, on the 201st day of the Pope's age. But, yeah, and, you know, I forget how it happened, but Donut and I were on a stream together maybe a couple years back. And then as soon as I came on, Donut's like, "Oh, hey, I got your book. I'm going to go find your book." And then he wasn't on camera. He was like running around, and in the background, he's like, "Oh, I must have lost it. I can't find it anywhere." It's like, and I already like didn't like the guy. I was just like, what was the point of us doing that? God. So yeah, you can listen to Jay Dwyer, who will lead you to they. You know, Jay Dwyer, they run the intelligence agencies. It's like, who's they? It's weird how, you know, understanding the numbers and the history, you can see that they is the Jesuits. No doubt about it. But nobody wants to talk about it. Yeah, exactly. Again, you know, just and that's what I was talking about this stuff 10 years ago. I said, watch, someday you're going to see this work get co-opted. You're going to see channels come and start putting out the knowledge, and they'll get more views and bigger subscribers, and they'll make the work look like shit. And you have that guy that uses Gematria to say that this person is that person. Actually, I have multiple people doing that now, which is just dumb. You got, yeah, Logan, who you just brought up, who's comes from Hollywood and just literally the worst, just the most embarrassing, nonsensical decodes in the history of decodes. And yeah, so. Well, the work can be co-opted, though. I mean, again, when you have people getting a lot more views doing dog shit work, and it's just like that donut guy. He started promoting Cody, and you saw what happened when Cody came on here. He admitted that all of his predictions have been false. He has been doing too much fear mongering. So it's like, why does Donut keep referencing his work? It's almost like the remark Donut just made was the setup, because he knew that he'd been promoting Cody's Gematria channel, where literally Cody making it look god awful every day. And now, like, if his audience is the only Gematria they're checking out is Cody. And now he's like, you know, see, like, people are doing this numbers, secret society stuff, but really all you need to, it's like, yeah, it's just, it's maddening, man. It's maddening. Yeah, you know, call me kinfolk. I still want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, my eyebrows been up about him the whole time because, you know, I put out for free that year why the Warriors are going to beat Boston. And the video, you know, is in the time we're not getting any views. We've been super suppressed since Kobe died, and that was 2022. And we were dead on about the ritual and exactly how it unfolded. And then he put out a video about why Boston was going to win. And it was literally just like the worst, most god-awful decode ever. And he was totally wrong. And his channel grew by 20,000 subs covering the NBA Finals. Just in those weeks of the finals, I was just watching his videos, getting all these views. And it was just, it was like literally just like the most dog shit decode in the history of decodes. And I just thought, what? Like, how can the wrong information that's poorly presented, that's just baseless and stupid, get way more views and just tremendous growth on the channel? You know, like in 2016, for example, which is when my work really took off because we called every sports future Prince's death. 2016, over the course of the entire year, my channel probably grew by about 30,000 subs. And then it really took off at the start of 2017 after the Super Bowl landed. And but again, I mean, it was so much hard work and dead on work and groundbreaking work. And now you have like Call Me Kinfolk, who's, I mean, I appreciate the people share the work, but essentially he just bites everything I do. and then kind of seemingly in every video really like misses the main point in almost every video. I would say when I watch, I'm like, God, like, why did he start here? What's the point? Is like, how can you not have this part in the video? So it's like watching a young student of mine who's okay with the work, except for his basketball decode, which seemed like it was purposefully bad. So that's why he's suspect to me, because it's like, how, unless that's what YouTube wants to do, right? Promote like the bad Gematria channel that makes the work easy to discredit. That's what's coming up in people's feed before the OG, who's, you know, it's just, yeah, it's annoying to watch all this. So, and you know, Donut always will recommend Call Me Kinfolk's channel too. Actually, when he brings up Gematria, he'll bring up Cody or Call Me Kinfolk, and I don't mind him recommending Call Me Kinfolk as much, because his work is better. It's just, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bad decoding going on Twitter, no doubt about it. Jay says, that's 100% what YouTube does. That's why Conscious X, Kinfolk, all these people have more subs, because they know they make the work look goofy. Yeah, out of the group of people that I'm, like I said, I'll still give Call Me Kinfolk the benefit of the doubt, but his NBA Finals decode, and that's where he got a ton of growth. It just didn't make any sense. It was like, okay, he's wrong, and he was telling people to bet on it too. I was like, I know, and he was watching all my videos back then, so he literally went the opposite of what I laid out, which was undeniable. For people who got, I mean, it was like the easiest call in the history of calls, you guys. It wasn't a hard decode for the 2022 NBA Finals. I'll show you how simple it was. Pope Francis equals 175. Golden State equals 175. Boston fell to 17-5 in the finals. And basketball's 22, just like Boston is 22. It was Boston's 22nd NBA Finals in 22. And that was the 75th anniversary season. The Warriors became 7-5 in finals, and the Celtics picked up their 75th all-time home playoff loss, losing at home as they lost the finals. And the reason it was so obvious that it was going to be synced with the Pope is here. I'll just go back and show you. So what annoyed me is I know Kinfolk watched the video, and then to put out like a whack-ass decode and go the opposite, and he like left out the whole 22 part until the very end of the video. I was like, okay, like 22 is so huge with basketball, how are you going to leave that out until like the last second? It was like literally like 15 minutes of just total bullshit and god-awful decoding and no logic. And then, oh yeah, here's the 22 thing. It was just like, okay, that probably should have been at the start of the video. But here, we're going back to the Pope's birthday. You see, this was the year before the 2022 finals. 2021-2022 NBA season. You see how the Warriors, I'll show you even you see how the Celtics fell to 7-5 at home, losing this game on the Pope's birthday, and then again they eventually picked up their 75th postseason home loss as the Warriors became 7-5 in the finals. But the Warriors won with 111. Look at the Pope's full name. And remember, the Pope's named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco. But Jorge Mario Bergoglio's 111. Okay, 111. So Warriors won with 111. For the record, the NBA Finals is also 111. And again, we had this finals lined up before the playoffs began. We had the outcome dead on. Kinfolk's watching all this, and then he's got to go the opposite way and tell people like, you know, this is the fire decode. Take the Celtics. Like, what in the fuck, dude? Take the Celtics? Are you out of your mind? But here, I want you to see the Warriors became 10-3 away, because I want you to see the 22 NBA Finals, what the final score was of the last game. The Warriors won with 103 points, right? And Jesuits is 103, and I think Ultimate Warrior is 103. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior is 103, and was that the day in history that the Ultimate Warrior died? Hold up. Ultimate Warrior. Think about it, the Warriors, Ultimate Warrior. Oh, that's the day the Ultimate Warrior was born. He was born June 16th. You see? June 16th. Warriors win it on June 16th. Like, this is the decode that should have went viral. We put it out before the finals even happened. That was a free play we gave everybody that year. Hardly got any views. You know? Call me kinfolk's whack-ass decode got like 100K views. His channel grew by 20K subs. It's just like in what world is this happening? Like, what? Who's listening to like the student who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and how's that getting 10 times the traction? A guy who has no track record? Here's a guy who's been calling sports futures college and pro for a decade, like laying it down very specifically. The new recruit who's obviously needs to go back to school. I mean, that's what I call co-opted. So, kinfolk's former military, is that right? Yeah, that makes sense. Exactly. It's all starting to make more sense. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're making good YouTube money doing flan decodes and the videos and the revenue's still flowing in and you're still getting big views, why switch it up? That's the way these people think. So. Yeah, exactly. This is the downside of Gematria. You put this knowledge in dumb people's hands, man, you will see just the worst decodes and just the and that's why when you have the Brians of the world, you remember the only time Brian actually brought Gematria on his YouTube channel, I'm talking about No Impact Flicks. Now here's the deal. The only time he actually brought Gematria on his channel was to attack Russian vids decode of him. And Russian vids, another one of these flat earth Jesus people who you don't know their name, you don't know their face, a guy who's been doing Gematria decode since he learned from me to expose me as an antichrist. But then he did a decode of Brian, and Brian's like, look, I mean, this is bullshit. This is why I'm not doing Gematria on my channel. It's like, but that seems pretty disingenuous, Brian, to be, because Brian's been cloning my work too, but leaving out the Gematria part, like copying the parallels and historical facts I bring up, and he'll present that, but then he'll leave out the Gematria, which provides greater context. So he knows the worth of it, but then he has to diminish it by taking a bad example used against him. So. Yeah, that's the new gas station attendant argument. Well, I stopped even sharing these videos on Facebook because I realized they're not, like, nobody in my feed is even getting a notification. I've been like automatically making go to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and then I actually opened up my Facebook profile, which I never do. And I noticed like the last 100 posts all had 0 views, 0 likes. And I thought, wow. Which shouldn't surprise me. The first time I ever got my channel deleted, it was by Facebook. But it's so annoying how clamped down the algorithm is. And that, I'm pretty sure that all that you really have on the tube with people who have platforms are like paid for disinformation and shills and former military and just doing their part to control the narrative and keeping people blaming things on they, thinking the most important thing you can do in the world is be a cop watcher. Go get a camera and go in a post office and set off a scene with the cops and get some YouTube dollars because YouTube tolerates that. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there for today, guys. But yeah, I just hate how anytime I call out just like bullshit in the community, there's always some moron that's like, why do you gotta beef? I like both of you. That seems like a troll bot comment too, because whenever I get these comments, I'm like, I've never seen this person ever leave a comment on my channel before. But then within minutes, they're there, why do you gotta do that? I like both of you. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you like both of us. You're a fucking retard. Care if you like me. My work is legit. This person's work is bullshit. Can't see the difference? I don't give a fuck about you. Kick rocks. Again, I don't want short bus riders around here. I don't want flat earth retards around here. I don't want religious people around here. I don't want retards that follow shills around here. Okay? I do want a lot more people around here, so I mean, in a way, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot because it's slim pickings in America. But no, I really don't want those 3 groups of people. Those people aren't going to help me with anything at the end of the day. I don't trust religious people. They're the worst people in society. I don't trust dumb people. And flat earthers, like I just said about, I mean, you think the earth is flat? You got to be a special kind of dumb. And the flat earthers are just so annoying because they think they're smart. They're like calling you names because they don't understand how stupid they are. And that's infuriating, man. It's like, wow, to be called names by a fucking retard? Okay. If you fell for the flat earth psyop, you're a very special kind of dumb, okay? There's no argument around it. There's none. Yeah, people do want to be deceived. People like bullshit. People here. You know what? While we're at it, let's watch this bullshit video right here. Look at this. Look at Styx's latest video on the Boeing thing, and then let's compare Styx and understand. If you guys don't know Styx, you know, the former Satanist, he used to be a good channel, like back in 2015, 2016, before he turned into Trump mania. Where does video go on? The hell, you take it down?
All right, everyone.
I don't even know where his damn video went. He had a video up right here on Boeing that was just speculating nothing but bullshit, nothing but opinion. Oh, here it is. We're going to watch this video. Again, it annoys me that this has 40-some thousand views. I just want you to compare how his 7 minutes of bullshit I can do better than in literally 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, I can explain a lot more about what's going on with Boeing than his 7 minutes of bullshit speculating. But yeah, once upon a time, Styx and I had about the same size channels, and he's never been deleted, but he went the Trump route, rode the mainstream wave, and now he's up to 500,000 subs, making a fortune in YouTube ad revenue. And again, I mean, this is what selling out looks like. But also just the fact that these channels like literally have nothing to back up their point. Here, watch how long it takes for me to explain the ritual with Boeing. So remember how at the beginning of the year, January 5th, it was like a whole week coverage of the Boeing door that flew off the plane. They had to do the emergency landing in Portland, and they just kept telling you that story over and over and over and over. That was the 263rd day of the CEO's age, which is the 56th prime. And guess what his name equals in Gematria? 56. And how many times have we talked about 263 and 56 in rituals? Again, all the planes on 9/11 were Boeings, and the 3 flights that hit targets, 11, 77, and 175, all add up to 263. And remember when we went across the country and gathered people in cities to raise awareness about big agendas, which was finished off with New York and 9/11? Do you remember that YouTube just deleted that whole channel exactly 263 days after 9/11 for no reason? They didn't give any strikes or anything. They just took down the whole channel 263 days later. So, again, from understanding the knowledge and the patterns and what they do over and over, and what 56 goes back to, the Jesuits. And let's not forget that Boeing was founded by a member of Skull and Bones, and that murder of that former employee who was testifying, dead on the 68th day of the year, big Seattle CIA number, and dead on 3/8. I mean, like, this knowledge you can explain and see through everything. Why that guy's dead the day he is. Why Boeing's so connected to 1968 when 911 was made the code and World Trade Center construction began. And for the person who's like, well, why do they need to do the ritual? Again, they have to do the ritual because it's all money, you guys. Boeing's stock has tank, and then eventually there'll be another ritual, and then it'll go back up. And the thing about the people who are manipulating the markets, you can make a fortune when a stock is going down. You can make a fortune when a stock's going back up, as long as you know what dates the moves are going to happen. You can become a millionaire in a day. You can multiply $1 million into $10 million a day, understanding these rituals. So the Boeing thing's a ritual. The insiders know that the ritual with Boeing's coming January 5th, the 263rd day of Mr. 56 CEO's age. They got their options in. They got the price nailed for what it's going to drop down to. All of this stuff is market manipulation. Everything in this world's manipulation. And if you're in on the take, there's a lot of money to be made. So anyway, Let's watch this video that got 40,000 views when we can hardly get 400 over here, and watch how there's nothing but bullshit in his explanation of anything. It's nothing but his opinion. Make sure I got the settings right. All right, here, let's compare.
All right, everyone. I've flown on airplanes quite a few times, Airbuses and Boeings, doesn't really matter. And I don't really think too much about it, generally speaking. Air travel tends to be relatively safe. I think train is the safest method, at least up until East Palestine, of course. But plane...
And who do you guys remember when East Palestine happened? How we showed how it was perfectly synced with the movie by the code, and how it was also perfectly synced with Palestine and Israel. And then look what ends up happening with Palestine and Gaza later in the year with the war, which we called out the day Netanyahu came back. And again, along the way, you know, nobody's touching on any of this. They're just interjecting their opinions and their bullshit and what they think. And some people's opinions are better than others. I'd say in terms of people's opinions being better than others, Styx is better than most people because he's a smarter guy. But just watch. I mean, there's literally no substance to this video. There's nothing his audience is going to walk away with that they can do anything with.
By and large, I mean, there's a trillion of them taking to the skies each year, and only a few of them ever have any major problems. But lately, we've been having more of them. And partially, I think in the wake of that original story some weeks ago, of course, there was that one Boeing that lost the side panel on the door and in flight. And so, you know, you get hypoxia if you don't have the oxygen mask working. More focus was put on the issue of airline safety. There's that picture right now circulating on Twitter of that one plane from the Uzbekistani Airlines or something, and it's all dilapidated and probably should not actually be allowed to be in flight at all, but somehow they're allowed. I'm not exactly sure why, by the way. But now we've had another incident. United Airlines flight actually lost a panel mid-flight. And then you have the Boeing whistleblower, of course, John Barnett, who just supposedly killed himself, despite the fact that he was being very open. He'd complained for some time, hey, the problem is that they're rushing the production schedule. They're having to cut corners. They're using subpar components, and it's a rush job because, I mean, the demand's high, and they're looking out for profit margin, basically. So, yeah, not every plane is necessarily fully structurally sound. And that's just going to be a thing that happens. You know, maybe a rivet is loose over here, a panel is a little bit off over here. Generally, they're going to fly anyway and they'll be fine, but, you know, there's an increased risk that something happens. And then, of course, now we got word today from his friend. He'd called and said, you know, if I die, it's not suicide. Then he kills himself shortly thereafter. I don't know that I believe that story. I think that there are shenanigans afoot, and it's sort of like with Jeffrey Epstein, only he's not a pervert like Epstein. There's no evidence of that.
And again, what's Gematria show about Jeffrey Epstein? That his name equals a number value that's the number of days from his birthday that was his death. And a whole lot more than that. And we can explain why it happened on Tisha B'Av, and we can explain why the medical examiner's car that they showed parked outside of where he died was the number on the back that went with Tisha B'Av, and 1,000 other things. Not to mention we dissected the whole Jeffrey Epstein psyop from the day he was arrested by the FBI by the numbers. Again, these guys just come in here with their just nothing but opinion and bullshit, and it just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that Styx and I used to be on the same playing field, getting the same kind of views, and now he's just nothing but bullshit. Like back in the day, he was dropping knowledge and facts, and that's what you see. You get rewarded if you sell out and become a nothing. Just put a Trump banner in the background and talk out of your ass.
It's like, yeah, the cameras switched off, the guards were away. You were just taking off suicide watch, and then another dude hears you screaming in your cell and shit like that, but, you know, there's no investigation is needed. By the way, you're never going to get that client list. When things line up like that, usually it's not coincidence. I do not believe that he killed himself. I believe that he was whacked, probably by Boeing. And so we have this insider scoop by a person that worked with him saying, look, I was physically there for an extended period of time. I can personally vouch for the fact that they are cutting corners. then you have a string of incidents that are in the public conscience. And Boeing's stock tumbling, predictably. Its stock price will repair, but only when they fix the issue, because otherwise you're going to apparently keep having random panels flying off.
Again, not when they fix the issue, when the propaganda and the ritual stops. Does anyone even know that the door really came off the jet on January 5th? I mean, is there any proof that that happened? They could put any bullshit on the news to create the trauma to the company that they have, just nonstop negative reporting of Boeing. All they have to do is put out another bullshit story about this great accomplishment for Boeing, and then it'll start surging back up. And at some point that's going to happen. Or, maybe World War III's on the horizon, right? And then once they start their next war, Boeing's going to be the hottest stock because they're pretty much the biggest military contractor in the U.S. So is this all just the purposeful sell-off of Boeing to get the stock down cheap, to get the times 4 return overnight if they set off, a much larger war? That's what's going on right now. And he's talking about the news is it's maddening, man. Total sellout and totally rewarded for it. And does he have trolls? Does he have people trolling him 24/7, 365? Does he have a sweet lady? Then people are calling her work. I mean, and not to make things about physical appearances, but I mean, who even wants to look at Sticks? It looks like the offspring of a praying mantis fucking a warthog. Anyway, let's watch the next 4 minutes of this video and just watch. There's absolutely nothing to it.
The side of aircraft. Now, if that happens when you're over ground and you're near an airport where you can land, it might not be as much of a problem. But one of the other things that Barnett claimed is very problematic should this happen, let's say, over the Atlantic Ocean or over the Pacific Ocean. And that's that sometimes the oxygen masks don't work properly. I think he said something like 10% of them wouldn't deploy properly or something like that in an emergency scenario. So are you going to kill off 10% of the people on your jet going over the Atlantic? You're going to land, they'll be all bloated and shit. People be poking at their bellies. They'll be bloated with gas by then, or half frozen. They'll die of hypoxia generally. That would be a little bit of a logistic nightmare. It's the sort of thing that can literally bankrupt a company. It doesn't matter if you're a major supplier of military goods and you're the biggest provider, I think, of aircraft and aircraft components in the entire world. Not going to matter much. You won't be the largest for long. You'll be taken down a peg. So it's when I fly across the Atlantic and go to Europe, I'm maybe I need to investigate which particular kind of aircraft I'm going to be flying on when I make that itinerary. It's concerning enough that I'm even if the odds are really low that something happens, do I want it to happen at altitude, 1,000 miles away from the nearest airport? Probably not. And so that's going to be a thing. I'm going to have to take that into consideration. Normally it's a no-brainer. It's okay, generally, with air travel, things are pretty safe. They check every aircraft before it lifts off, and they go through multiple checks on the runway. Sometimes it's a little bit burdensome, actually, flying out of Washington, D.C. The flight itself is short to Burlington Airport, but, they're taxiing around and repeatedly checking the flaps and the engines and everything else. I think it took almost an hour to actually take flight. I know it's a busy airport, but geez, logistically speaking, isn't there a better way to design them to make them a little bit more efficient? The world may never know. Certainly that development won't happen first in the United States. It'll happen in Japan or Dubai or something like that. What the fuck is happening with Boeing? How can a company, you're basically going Bud Light mode, especially when you kill the whistleblower, which is probably what happened.
And again, the whole Bud Light thing was nothing but ritual. Do you really think Bud Light's so incompetent to make their whole brand about transgender and just keep sinking their stock and doubling down on it? It's the same fucking game. And remember, we covered how all the Budweiser stuff was by the typical 201-144 Jesuit code. Anyway, I could play the next 2 minutes of this video, but again, it's just nothing but more bullshit. There's absolutely no substance to anything he's saying. And here, again, just to recap. John Barnett, dead on 3/8, right? We know all about 3/8 over here. We've given people knowledge to understand why when somebody's dead on March 8th, 3/8 or 8/3, what that has to do with murder, death, killing, a very repetitive code. And for those of you guys in the chat saying that you don't think Styx knows about the occult, you're actually wrong. He used to have a great channel back in 2015, 2016. He knows a lot about the occult. I suspect he was likely born into it to know as much as he does. Keep in mind, he's younger than me. So, like, he was in his mid-20s, and he had all this knowledge about the esoteric things that most people know nothing about. But then Trump comes around, and he just turns into a Trump bullshit channel, and now he has huge views and ratings. And where did we go? I went to the wrong one. Again, John Barnett. So there's the 3/8 thing, but then it was March 8th, the 68th day of the year, and we've talked 1,000 times about Boeing, headquartered in Seattle in 1968. That's the year they debuted their jumbo jetliners. World Trade Center construction goes underway in New York. 911 made the code. George W. Bush out of Yale and Skull and Bones, and the founder of Boeing also was in Yale, Skull and Bones. Boeing murder, suicide. They're saying this is a suicide. John Barnett and sacrifice, 46 and 62. He's dead at 62. Again, it drives me nuts. And did you see the likes on his bullshit video? 40,000 views and nearly 5,000 likes, and he said absolutely nothing. Just talking, just throwing out bullshit to keep up with the viral news. Because that's what all these popular tubes do. They just look what's trending. Boeing's trending that day in the news. Oh, I'm going to just throw out a video on Boeing and just talk out of my ass. Provide nothing. I get 5,000 likes. The machine benefits from my bullshit video. We do a video and we get like I don't think we got. Here, let's see how many likes did we get. Let's see how many video views and likes we got. Well, and then it's hard to tell because YouTube's taking away likes and views from our channel and deleting people's comments. But let's just see what the results are at right now. Let's compare. And I'll have morons here like, why are you talking about other channels? Because I'm talking about the bullshit that's going on in this world that people need to wake up to. What happens if nobody clicks on these people's bullshit channels anymore? Do they still get views and likes? I do so many damn videos I can't even find where the damn video is. John Barnett video. Here. It got 3,156 views and not even 400 likes. We couldn't even get to 400 damn likes. Couldn't even get to 400 likes. Talking about something that just further proves what we've been talking about. Remember, on the same day this happened, it was National Oregon Day, the neighbor to Washington. Oregon's 38, and the mayor or the governor's name is 68, and then she changes the laws to target all the deaths from fentanyl, and fentanyl was approved in 68. Here, how many views did that video get? Can we find that one? Where's that one at? Dead on call about Bitcoin, didn't even get 400 likes. Could have saved a bunch of money because just like I said, it was going to tank after it hit the milestone. Doesn't mean it won't go back up in the future. Where's my video on the Oregon mayor? Oregon governor. Video got 1,700 views. Not even 250 likes, man. This is total bullshit, just killing the algorithm. It's just annoying to think that him and I were in the same place back in 2015, and now, he's bringing in all the views, doing absolutely nothing for his audience. Absolutely fucking nothing, man. And yeah, again, here, run the disc. Here, I did a lazy post and just wrote everything down. I just wrote everything down here. But here, let's just map it out. Let's see if I was lying. And everybody's been around knows I've been talking about this 263-56 pattern with 9/11 and Boeing and the Jesuits and everything from Nancy Pelosi to a million other things. Her birthday's 26/3 with the 56 name. There's a million of them. But here, Dave Calhoun, born April 18th. Boeing's door flew off January 5th. It was the only news story for like a whole week. April 18th, 2023 to January 5th, 2024. 262 days after his birthday, which means it was his 263rd day of his age, the 56th prime. Again, you can't keep your prime numbers together. Just go to Number Empire, type in 263. It'll tell you, yes, it's prime. It's the 56th. And then, the Gematria of Dave Calhoun. Here, I'll use my own calculator on my website. A lot of people still complain to me about all the ads on Derek's calculator. Derek's calculator is not mine. This is my website, GematriaEffectNews. I use Derek's calculator because it's better for presenting in live streams because the values are bigger and more colorful. But on mine, there's no ads. It's totally free to use. You can download for free apps for your Apple device or your Android device. It works offline. But yeah, his name's got the 56 in it. Dave Calhoun, 56. Oh, and notice Calhoun is 34 like Boeing, like suicide, right? Calhoun's got the 34. Boeing's got the 34. Suicide's got the 34. Murder's got the 34 and the 38 and the 83 like he was found dead on 3/8 or 8/3. But nobody wants to talk about this. His bullshit video literally has more likes than I think I've ever gotten on any video. Even back in the day when I could get views, I always noticed how YouTube would cut off the likes. Like, if even videos that got 1 million views, well, there might have been a couple or a few videos in my lifetime that got 10,000 views, but they were up around the 1 million view range. And those were damn good videos that exposed a lot. I mean, literally, that guy just bullshitting, talking about nothing for 7 minutes has more views. Or, well, more views than almost all my videos for the last 4 years, but more likes than almost any video I've ever put out. And it's like, how's that even fucking possible? Remember when we went to Google last year? We went to their headquarters and we were greeted by an army of security. And if you haven't been to Google's headquarters, there's police all over the place. There's foreign security all over the place. It's in the side of a hill. It's like a fortress. But yeah, they wouldn't let me in the building, but then they had a guy come out and take down all these questions, and they said they'd contact me within 2 weeks, but then they didn't, and next thing I knew, they deleted the next 2 YouTube channels, including the one from our 9/11 trip. But yeah, these companies, man, they're making sure everybody stays in their lane. That's what the game is in America, to keep everybody dumb and ignorant and listening to the wrong people and destroying the good information. It's too bad. Who are you saying? You'd love to see me debate Styx? Thank you, Daria. Well, I put it out there. I challenged him to a debate. Other people said they left comments on his channel to debate me. Yeah, him and I should have a debate about Donald Trump, you know, being a person of the people or a rigged Jesuit puppet who's just, you know, up there on the stage going with the number code every day. We know who's going to win that debate. But see, that's the thing. Even if I win the debate, I still think to the average American, everything I lay out means nothing to them, so it's not a win. It just doesn't register in their brain. They're like, I don't believe that. I mean, like, I liked it better when Trump was president. You know what I mean? It's like, that's who we're talking to. Believers. The evidence and facts don't mean anything. I like him better because he has the MAGA hat on. Documentation. Find the Google being creepy on D144. Where do we find that at, Nate? Don't do another super chat. Just respond in the comments where we find that at. Is that on your channel? Oh, D114 is probably your channel. Disambiguation 144. Google being creepy. Here, okay, I got it. Here, by the way, I just want to plug this guy. I don't even know how this guy's video showed up in my feed the other day because he's like literally getting no views. But he'll probably continue to get no views. He has a really small channel. It just showed up the other day. I clicked on it and I was glad I did. Every video this kid's putting out is good. He has the right like message and outlook on so far everything I've listened to. This guy, I don't know why he showed up, but hey, if you just want to give this guy a plug, he has 7 subs. I can tell he's trying to build a channel. He's got 15 videos. You know, 4 views, 13 views, 23 views. He's giving great advice, though, this guy. Great advice, great outlook, great attitude. I haven't heard him say a word that was wrong. And for that, YouTube will probably keep him in permanent algorithm hell. But Chris Vandermeer, if you want to check him out. Here's his channel in the description. He'd be excited if his channel just grew by 100 subs overnight out of nowhere. So if you guys want to help make his day, he'll probably be inspired to make more videos. Deserving messages do not get rewarded on the tube. You got to be a shill bullshitter. All right, hold on. I was trying to look up Nathan's channel and I got distracted. funny how when you search exactly the channel name and that title, it does not come up. Amazing how that works. That's the other thing they did with the algorithm. They just made sure that you cannot find what you need even when you search exactly for it. All right, so here's the video on his channel. Google being creepy in GematriaEffectNews live stream November 18th, 2020. I'll check it out later. I'm not sure what you documented there. But yeah, if you guys don't know Nathan, he's come out and pounded pavement with us all over the nation. Shout out to Nathan, longtime supporter of the channel. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, give Nathan a sub too, man. I mean, Nathan does a lot of cool uploads, and he does support my work and does clips of my work too, which I appreciate. But yeah, that other guy who I just recommended, who has no subs, like I don't even know how his video showed up in my feed, but I just clicked on it. I was like, who's this guy with no views in my feed? That's weird. And I listened to it. I was like, I like this guy. I like this guy, man. Let's see. It was what? Chris Vandermeer? This is him. Chris Vandermeer. Yeah, he's got the right outlook on life. He's a lot more positive and uplifting than me. You know, what he's saying is really, that's another part of me. It's just, I'm so mad at the world, I'd rather rant and vent about things, about how bullshit it all is. And call out all the morons because I just can't stand it. Okay, yeah, I'll probably upload a few more short videos. Let me make sure nothing's breaking. Things are usually sleepy on a Sunday. House Speaker Johnson has had enough. Let's not forget that Mike Johnson equals 56 like Washington, D.C., and he's the 56th Speaker of House. The things people won't talk about. Ever since I updated the Mac OS to the most current OS. This computer's about 4 years old. And now the computer just like overheats so fast. That's how they just keep you buying new computers, man. The fans just have to work too hard. Apple's not what it used to be, man. You used to buy an Apple back in the day. It was going to be solid for at least 5 years. But, And again, we know what Apple is too. Apple's a big part of this surveillance state. That's why at the end of the day, you guys, I just wish what we could all do is just turn off all this technology, throw out all of these phones, stop supporting all of these companies, like stop our cell phone service, stop paying these telecom companies that are spying on us, collecting our data and working with government. I mean, that's really what has to happen. But at the same time, it's just like, I feel like it's a Pandora's box. Because like, well, then how am I going to speak out about all the tyranny when already nobody else is speaking out? Thank you, Dale. I see your PayPal donation. I appreciate that very much. Thank you to all the people who donate behind the scenes, CashApp, PayPal, Venmo, all that stuff. I appreciate it. There's always at least one person a day that sends a little donation. Thank you. RPM Trey just sent a message. He says, I don't have on my RPM Trey gear right now. It's a rare day that I don't have it on. But make sure you guys are giving RPM Trey Vietnam a sub. This is what I copy and paste in the comment sections of Instagram whenever the occasion suits it on any post about any conspiratorial or political post. So this is what RPM Trey posts in social media to try and get out the word. Now, what I got to ask is, are they keeping your messages up or are they getting shadow banned? But this is what he's writing. He says, they are serious enough about what they do to the world for them to know they got to be everywhere. Everywhere includes the English language and the Gregorian calendar that we go by every day. Do you think they would be behind giving those things to the world, and it wouldn't be just as deep and ritualistic as the rest of their shit. Learn Gematria. Go to GematriaEffectNews 25 on YouTube. Trey, here's my advice on what you're posting. People don't like to read, right? So something longer than a sentence is pushing it. Longer than 2 sentences, they're probably just skipping to the next shortest comment. I mean, you go to almost any YouTube channel, like the top comment, it's usually like a really short one-liner. It's usually funny because people like humor. But yeah, I'd encourage you to leave a shorter comment. But I do appreciate you. Make sure you're supporting your own work, too. Make sure you're leaving a comment about your own work. Your work needs just as much attention as mine does, and neither of us get anywhere near the views we do. It's because we're not bullshitting. We are threats to the system. Yeah, if you guys don't know RPM Trey's channel, again, I'm usually wearing his t-shirts these days. RPM Trey Vietnam, RPM for resist political manipulation. Picture him and his cousin. They like to do the open carries. They both came out in pound and payment with us in Oklahoma City. And you know what? They shut down all of our live streams in Oklahoma City right after Trey and his cousin came out. We all lost our live streams in Oklahoma City, which was unfortunate. We don't blame Trey for it, but it was just funny how that worked out. He came out with his open carry message, and then they took down all of our live feeds. Like, God. You know who's got the dangerous message when they take out everybody's feed all at once. Thank you again, Oscar. I appreciate that. Yeah, tell me about it, Kim. Kim, whenever I just go on like people's channels and try to share the knowledge, like I've been on a lot of investor channels lately because I'm getting my research back up on that. And it's just like you leave comments about this and just simple things for people to look into. Like Friday, when all the cannabis stocks are up, I was in a few different live streams out markets. I was like, hey, look into what Gematria is and how the word cannabis equates to 153 with stocks up on 15/3. And just like in every room I went to, and I posted a few times, not try to like spam and take over the chat, but wait a few minutes and post it again. Literally zero response in any of the chats I went in. And like in all chats, so many dumb conversations going on the side, and it's just like I don't know what it is about people, man. It's, well, like I've always said, but actually I do know what it is. It's that people are fucking retarded. That's what it is. People get so mad when I say that, but why? You get mad, I guess, because the truth provokes people. I mean, you don't think society is a bunch of dumbasses? Look at the things they're into. Hollywood puts out a great movie, right? Hollywood puts out some stupid action flick with the same plot, just redone again. What movie blows up in the box office that weekend? It's never the great movie. Great movie probably did the worst that weekend. The meaningful story, something inspirational, something just. Like nobody wants to see that movie. They want to watch the fucking retards blow up the building with the shit acting. You know what I mean? That's a society we live in. Taylor Swift? How's she such a big star? Her music sucks. Like, what's impressive about Taylor Swift? Does she have a great voice? No. Do any of her songs sound even interesting? No. God. It's just a society of dum-dums. Dum-dums and suckers, man. Jesse, yeah, I got to, I got to reach out. I just see how busy you are. I see how busy you are over there. That's why I haven't, it's like, well, Jesus, this guy's just doing interviews around the clock, 24/7, 365. So I figured you got enough on your plate. I appreciate what you're doing over there, though. I've caught a number of the interviews you've done. You've had on some very interesting guests. Dr. Shiva, you got Dr. Shiva on there. I don't care for Dr. Shiva at all. He seems just like from the moment he's another guy they made viral in 2020. And you had him on there, and I see he's trying to be more edgy now. He's trying to act like, I don't know what he's trying to act like. He's got this new phrase, Zionist cocksuckers, blaming everything on Zionists. It's like, dude, that's played out, man. You got to call him out on that, Jesse. You got to be like, yo, Zachary Hubbard would say that's played out. How can you still be saying Zionists run the world when Zionist Israel were the biggest guinea pigs of the COVID pandemic? But yeah, a lot of people just fall for all these guys that get promoted in the algorithm. Dr. Shiva just comes out of nowhere in 2020, gets all the attention. It's not that he was wrong about things, it's just that he leads people to the wrong places. Zionists weren't running the COVID pandemic, it was all Jesuits. Didn't ever hear him mention the word Jesuit once in his life. And yeah, another guy, he's like, yeah, you get all the secrets if you buy my book. It's like, why not just put the information out there if you want to change the world? So, yeah, anyway, I'll send you an email, Jesse, but you're so busy over there. And, I'll also just want to, you and I got the same problem, Jesse. You put out too much content, none of your videos ever make it in the feed, and then nobody sees any of them, so. You've interviewed Dr. Shiva 3 times so far. Hey, see if here's how I'd like to come on, Jesse. I'd like to come on when you got Dr. Shiva on. Ask if he wants to debate Zachary K. Hubbard, and then if he doesn't know who I am, ask how it's possible he doesn't know who I am. And again, it's just it'd be sad if he didn't know who I was. I was the guy who put out the book at the start of the pandemic explaining why it was going to all wind down the bullshit as soon as the year of the tiger came around, which was another dead-on prediction, one of a million. And who actually showed who was running the pandemic, not Zionist cocksuckers, but the Jesuits. So if he wants to have a debate about who runs the world, Jesuits versus Zionists, let's do that. That could be interesting. I think that'll be good views for your channel too. But yeah, Dr. Shiva. And again, just the fact that he talks about elections like they're legitimate. Okay, elections aren't legitimate. They're completely rigged. The fact that you'd even want to be the president of the United States, I don't trust anybody who wants to be president of the United States. President of this corrupt nation, have authority over people. That's the problem. Humanity should want to be realizing that we don't want to have others have authority over us. And for all the dum-dums who need to have some authority over them to tell them what to believe and think and do and how many masks to put on and how many jabs to get and if they need to stay in their home today or shut down their business, these people just need to perish anyway. We don't need these people at all. So... But yeah, Dr. Shiva, he's just another guy that I've never liked, man. He's just seemed totally inauthentic, and it's like, why is the machine making him viral? They made him viral like they made the flat earth theory viral. Yeah, Shiva just wants to be by himself because he's a bullshitter. See, Jesse, I'm going to give you a criticism, Jesse. You're a real nice guy. I like that, but you're too nice. You didn't see the way he was talking in your stream? If I was interviewing, I'd be like, are you a tough guy, Dr. Shiva? You don't look very tough. Why are you talking so tough? You don't look very tough at all. Would you say that? Would you say the stuff you're saying right now online? Would you go out in the streets and say that? I don't think you'd say any of it. No, he's a fraud, totally inauthentic, and there's a reason that the machine made him viral in 2020. Just another full of shit person, leading people in all the wrong directions. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there for now, you guys, and I'll probably put up some more short videos. I'll probably do a short one on this little Netanyahu, Chuck Schumer, Ides of March, political theater special by the same old code. Yeah. All right. Anyway, have a good rest of your weekend, you guys. And until next time.